Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos. Manny's Monday memo. Ho. Manny's Monday memo. Hoes. 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 Hoes.
Welcome back, everybody. I got another guest. I stay having guests, don't I? I know. It's just so much fun. All right, so for today, we got Jordan. Jordan wanted to join us because he wants to talk about toxic relationships. Now, I know everybody has something to say about toxic relationships. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So, Jordan, what about toxic relationships do you want to talk about? Like, what made you want to pick this topic?
Well, I thought it was just a very, very, let's just say, needed discussion to have with you, and so everybody could hear it. I feel like everybody's in a toxic relationship or has been at some point or knows somebody that's in one or has been. So it's just a topic that everybody can pretty much relate to.
Okay. So what defines a toxic relationship, though? Because I think everybody might have a different definition. So, like, what is a toxic relationship to you?
Personally, I feel like a toxic relationship would be anything that draws negativity out of you, makes you get out of your character, makes you act any other way that you want it in a certain situation. And it doesn't have to necessarily be that person. It could be an environment, like your work environment could be toxic and make you get out of character. But more than likely, it's going to be a person.
So basically things that just kind of make you someone that you don't feel like you really are.
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan, have you ever been in a toxic relationship?
Yeah, actually, I've been in, I would say two.
In two toxic relationships?
Yeah, I would say two. I would say one toxic relationship and one toxic situationship. Not really a full-blown relationship.
Oh, you had
but,
a situationship.
Yeah, it was one of them situations that was toxic, so that was actually worse than my toxic relationship.
How you have a toxic situation? Because you could just cut that off. So you got to talk to me about that one. Come on now.
Well, okay, we can get into the toxic situationship. So, me and this person was never in a relationship. We actually met a few years ago, and then met as friends, things progressed, and me and her just never went to the next step to become in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that was my doing. I was very upfront with her from the beginning about my stance and, where I was not wanting to be in a relationship right now. I want to just stick as friends. Friends with benefits, if you will. You know where I was going,
Yup. I mean, you a typical dude, so keep going.
You got to go to with benefits at the end.
Go ahead. With benefits. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, it never really crossed over that, which was okay with me because that's what I wanted. And I was upfront with her. Mm-hmm. But as we know, that just never stays the case. Somebody's always going to gradually catch feelings.
Right.
As you guys, progress in the relationship.
Right.
So that's ended up what happened with her. She would start throwing hints in about getting in a relationship, asking me questions about, so do you ever think, you want to be in a relationship, or you ever feel like, you want to be with me? So when these questions was getting asked, I was actually answering them very truthfully, and I would tell her, honestly, I'm still feeling the same way I felt initially. I really do care about you. I like you, but I just don't want to go that next step. I don't know if I'm an asshole or not. I think I was being honest. Some people think I was being an asshole. So fast forward a couple months. Yeah. So fast forward some more months. At this point, this is like a year of this, like
a year? You let this go on for a year? Oh my God. That's definitely part of toxic, letting it drag on. Go ahead.
Well, is it part of toxic though? Am I letting it drag on if she's asked me about it? But
yes.
We can come back to that. But because we'll come back to that because some months go by and then this turns into like a year. Still nothing. She comes back around. Hey, same thing. Line of question. Do you feel like you want to be in a relationship with me? No, not right now. I just don't feel that way. Now, mind you, during this whole time, we've done things like travel together, went out of state together.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, go out on dates, spend time with each other.
So you
Probably
basically in a relationship.
No. A situationship. A situationship.
Y'all hear this, ladies? Don't get trapped. Don't get trapped. This happens. So okay, keep going.
Don't get trapped. Don't. You're not in a relationship until somebody says or you guys agree that you're in a relationship. That other person giving you relationship vibes and giving you the feeling that you're in a relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a relationship. And I feel like you did a topic or a video about that before.
I did.
Yeah.
True viewer. Go ahead. Let them know.
Exactly.
Let them know you watch them. Yeah, I did.
I've been in here. Exactly. Yep. So you just got to know your place. And, if I'm telling you these things, and I'm sorry if I sound harsh, but if I'm telling her these things, and she takes it a certain way, or she decides that she wants to continue being friends and continue doing what we're doing, that's her choice. I let her know how my stance was, how my feelings was, how they didn't change, but she chose to stick around and, continue being my friend. So basically, it gradually got toxic, because at this point, she's getting fed up with me not changing, me not changing my point of view, me not giving her a chance. So at this point, it's just been like a year and a half of this. Yeah.
I hope that never happens to me. Oh, wait.
This is a situationship, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a year and a half, so we start having arguments about this, and that's how I know it's kind of like bad, because these arguments only start when she brings up the same topic, or we have these disagreements whenever she brings this topic about me being in a relationship with her. So it began being toxic because it started bringing out negative energy in me. I would say things to her that I would regret saying. Not necessarily saying that I would say bad things to her, demeaning things to her, because that's not what it would be. But I would say how I feel, but I would not say it in a great way. You know what I'm saying? Like
you'll be like, you're ugly.
Yeah.
I just mean the tone. You may not have said that, but I'm just saying like you ugly, bro. Your breath stink. Ugly, like that.
Yeah. Nah, I wouldn't like that. It was like I would say things that I meant, but I would say it in a bad way. Like,
okay, so like let's role play. I'm her.
Okay.
What's an example?
Like an example would be when we're having these discussions. Okay, I would tell her, hey, I've always been honest with you from the get-go. I didn't want a relationship with you. Now I don't want a relationship with you. Then or now, basically. I didn't want a relationship with you then. I don't want a relationship with you now. My feelings haven't changed.
She never asked you why, though? Like, why?
Yeah, of course she asked me why, but my reasoning of why was just, I was giving her the run around. My reasoning of why was I didn't want to be in a relationship, which I didn't, with her. That's
so
what
it was her. That's what it was. It was her.
Yeah. It was things like, you can be friends with somebody, you can be friends with benefits with somebody for a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean that make great partners in a relationship. I would be very, very hesitant to jump in a relationship with somebody who I've been talking with for a while, but they've been showing signs that, if I do commit myself to this person, like, okay, they're already annoying me. I'm just committing myself to
appease
something
them.
To appease them, and not something I'm 100% behind.
All right, so let me get this straight then. If you knew, but because it started to get toxic. So if you knew that she wasn't willing to let go because she was holding on to some hope, and I'm gonna tell you why she was holding on to some hope. She was holding on to some hope because you take her, you went on trips together, you had dates. So in her head, she's like, oh my God, yeah, there's hope. Like, we definitely can have a relationship. Your actions were showing her otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, do you feel like you created the toxicness in a way? Like, do you feel like you take part in it? Do you think it's all on her, all on you? You think it's on both of you? What do you think?
I think, I think it's on me, to basically, like you said earlier, if I was leading her on or dragging it on that long, then that's on me. But also, I can't always put it on myself because in my defense, I wasn't leading her on. I was telling her the truth every step of the way. From the first time we met, I got her number to, a year later, every time she asked me if I always kept it 100 with her.
Right.
So I feel like in that sense, I wasn't wrong. But it became, like when things like this and feelings get involved, people start to do crazy things. And I'll give you an example of how this became very toxic at the end. And this was actually probably around February.
Okay.
And this was
2020?
like, yeah, right before the Corona stuff.
Recent, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right before the Corona stuff. So this is like the tip of the iceberg, pretty much the boiling point, because this has been going on for a year and a half. She's got feelings for me that I'm not reciprocating in her eyes, So basically what happens is we're pretty much just going about business how we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I call her and I let her know I'm on the way over to her house. We just had plans to hang out and maybe go out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as I'm calling her, I'm letting her know I'm on the way. I'm on 316. I'm on the way. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Okay. So I'm pulling in the driveway and I pull in. I call and let her know I'm on the way up. Just so I won't, just so she's aware that I'm on the way up the stairs. Okay, come on in. So as I'm walking up the stairs and I walk in, it's a whole nother man on the couch watching Rick and Morty, chilling, like he lives there.
She wanted to be petty. That's what she was trying to do. She wanted to be petty and show you something. She wanted to get a reaction out of you.
Exactly.
She's like, nah, I know you have feelings for me. Like, I know you do. You're playing with my emotions, and I'm going to show you something.
Exactly. And that was a very toxic situation because leading up to that, probably maybe a week before that's happened, I was in her house. We was all hanging out, and her mom comes by. Mm-hmm. Just random. Her mom comes by. She starts talking with us. This is like, I met her mom before, but this time her mom was different. She started asking me a different line of questions. So her mom's sitting there asking me all these questions about our situation. Mm-hmm. She's like, so, how do you feel about this person? How do you feel about this? And, where do you guys see each other going in the future and stuff like this? So it pops off to me that she's not telling the people who she's close with, like her parents and her friends, the real situation. Because her mom's asking me these lines of questions as if we're being in a relationship. She's like, oh my goodness, when are when are you guys doing this? When do you plan on doing this? And I'm like, and then I sat there and I told her mom, I was like, we're not together. I don't want to really be in a relationship.
You told her mom that?
Yeah. I told her mom that because I've been telling
on my White Claw. What happened?
Because I've been telling her this the whole time, so I assume she told her mom this. So fast forward a week later, that happens. And I come up and it's a dude there because she felt some kind of way that she felt very embarrassed and she felt like I outed her in front of her mom. She was saying that, I said disrespectful things to her mom about our situation, and that brought her to bringing somebody else there while I was on the way. And she knew I was coming, and she invited somebody else intentionally to, I don't know, maybe intentionally start a conflict or...
Oh, no, he's been there the whole time, buddy.
He might have been, and that's completely okay because in her defense, I never said I wanted to be in a relationship, and I always kept my point of view and my stance. I was always
Right.
firm on what I said. So for
Mm-hmm.
her to have somebody else and her have friends going on inside, that's not what I was mad about. That's not what I was upset about. I really just felt disrespected because you knew I was coming. You knew I was walking up the stairs like I called you. I'm about to walk up the stairs. I'm about to, okay, you didn't let me know this dude was in here, so you wanted me to find this. So that's how that ended. And that's where it's been left ever since.
Ooh, wait. So she can't stand you, can she?
She can't, but she still reaches out to me time. I don't answer. I don't answer though.
Why is she reaching out? Actually, I
I'm
already know
not.
the answer. I don't. It's okay. I already know why she's
Um,
reaching out. I think
Nick, can
me
you
and
tell me
everybody
why
else.
she's reaching out?
I think
Cause
me and everybody else know watching this know why she's reaching out. There's something that she likes, so it keeps making her come back. Woo! That's all I'm gonna say. How does someone how do you end a toxic situation? Like they're like, oh my god, I'm so in love, that's my baby daddy, that's my boyfriend, I've dated him for years, we've been messing around for years. Like, how do you end that? Like, how do you do
it's a
that?
good, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Depending on the situation, it's different how you end it. Depending on your feelings for that individual and their feelings for you, would decide how you want to end it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if this individual's mad in love with me, she really wants to be in a relationship with me, then I'm gonna let her down easy, but I'm gonna get my point across where she understands.
Gosh.
I'm
Okay.
gonna just leave it at that. So I'm gonna tell
Okay.
her how I feel. I'm gonna tell her that I respect how she feels, but that's not how I wanted to go, and I can't continue to make you feel. My whole thing is I can't continue to make you feel like I'm going to get in a relationship with you or
Mm-hmm.
that I have any other feelings than what I have. I don't want to continue making you feel that way, so I'm just gonna go my separate way.
Smart.
You
Okay.
know,
So
I'm gonna
like
go my
you
separate way.
finally taking the stance to be like, that's it. That's the end of that.
Yeah, if that person cares about me and I don't have those same feelings, that's how I would address the situation.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
You
That
know,
makes sense. What
if
about the other
the
one where you're on the receiving end?
if I'm on the
And
receiving,
yeah, how do you like? You just do you feel like it's better just to like let bygones be bygones and you keep it pushing, or do you still think that you should try to fight for it? Because I'll be honest with you, sometimes I feel like we hurt ourselves more trying to fix something rather than just letting it go.
exactly, and this is where a lot of people have trouble getting out of toxic relationships and situations, is because you don't always think about yourself when you're in those situations. A lot of
Nah.
times you think about your partner's feelings more than you think about your own. And that's a lot of times people's hardest problems and biggest problems is they think about others' feelings more than their own.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll much rather hurt themselves staying there than hurt the other person leaving.
Yeah, not me. I love myself too much.
Exactly. I do too. So if I was in that situation, I would
Yeah.
really just try to put myself in the mindset to where I don't think about this individual in a way where I need them or feel like I need them or depend on them for anything as far
Mm-hmm.
as comfort, as far as being there for me, as far as
Right.
just whatever it may need, being a friend. The first thing I would try to do is get myself out of the mindset where I need this individual for anything. Because, if I feel my way, if I love you and
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting you know my feelings
Right.
and, you don't feel that same way, it's a hard pill to swallow, but eventually you got to do it because
No,
that
no, I
person's
think it
not
makes
always
sense.
gonna, that
Yeah.
person's not always gonna come around and oh yeah, you know what, you care about me, so I care about you. That's not always how it works. 9 times
No,
out of
that's
10,
true.
you're sitting there caring about somebody who don't really feel the same way about you.
Nah, I think that's facts. I think the word you said is need. Any single time you feel like you need your person, situationship, relationship, that's when you know you're in a toxic position. Or that's how you know, like, even if you're not arguing, that's how you know it's not healthy. You should never need your partner. You should want your partner.
I would say that toxic relationships are something that everyone's aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at this point, you should always put yourself first if you find yourself in a toxic relationship and put your feelings first. not the loved one's feelings or not your partner's feelings. You should put what you care about in front of everything and do what's right by you.
If you're not happy, then don't worry. Don't stress yourself.
If you're not happy, don't stress yourself. Don't worry. Get out of it and run.
As fast as you can.
Find something greater.
There's
There's
plenty
always
out
better
there.
things. Yeah. Just because you're with somebody that cares about you deeply, but if you guys don't have a good relationship or if it's a toxic relationship, that doesn't mean that that's who you stuck with or that's
Right.
the only person out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people out there willing to treat you right, give you everything you wanted and need.
Manny's Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos.